Ex-DI Hillary Greene pulled her old Volkswagen Golf, puffed the tragic wagon, into the car park of the Thames Valley Police HQ in Kidlington and turned off the ignition. Puff coughed once before falling silent, and Hillary sighed in sympathy. The old car's MOT was due soon, and she had no idea if the old boy was going to pass. She climbed out into the early morning air, smoothing down her navy blue skirt as she did so, then pulling her warm winter coat a little tighter around her as the brisk wind whistled past her ears. It was the first week of November, and soon the fireworks of bonfire night would be terrifying every neighbourhood dog and cat in creation. And as she walked towards the entrance to the large, not particularly pretty building, she supposed glumly that both uniform and the ambulance service would have their usual hard work cut out for them, one arresting drunken revellers, the other treating their burns. After a lifetime of such experience, the stupidity of the human species invariably failed to amaze her. She pushed through the doors, but instead of heading to her office, made straight for the desk sergeant instead. She'd worked as a DI in this building for more years than she cared to remember, before taking early retirement 2 years ago. Unable to withstand the tedium, however, she'd soon returned, accepting a civilian post working cold cases for the crime review team, which hung its collective hat in the basement, down amid the old paper files, antiquated heating system, and spiders. When she'd first started there, the small investigative team that she worked for had been headed by Superintendent Stephen Crail. But Stephen was now heading on and up to better things, and today the new man in charge had arrived to learn the ropes. And this was why she was headed for the desk sergeant. She hadn't been a raw, wet-behind-the-ears green recruit for more than a week before she'd learned the very valuable lesson that if you wanted to know anything, and that meant anything, the person to ask was the desk sergeant. As she approached the reception counter that was his fiefdom, the particular specimen on day duty looked up and was patently ready for her. A big, beefy man with thinning hair and a wide grin, his brown eyes crinkled at the corners as he beamed a welcoming smile at her. "All ready to meet the new boss then, Hill?" he preempted her cheerfully. She undid her coat, giving the sergeant a quick peek at her smart navy blue skirt suit and warm pale blue polo neck sweater combo, teamed with her usual low-heeled, comfortable and sensible black leather boots. She wore no jewellery. In her younger years as a humble WPC, she'd quickly seen that earrings could be ripped out of your ears in a fight and a necklace used as a choker, literally. Her makeup was discreet but effective, and her usual bell-shaped cut of chestnut-brown hair hung just to the top of her shoulders. "I expect I'll pass muster," she said laconically. In response, the sergeant gave an appreciative wolf whistle. "Does your wife know you're safe to be let out?" Hillary grumbled with a smile. She'd reached her half-century just last year, but had finally managed to lose the stone or so in weight that she'd always been meaning to shed, so she knew that she looked good. Or so a certain very good-looking superintendent was always telling her. "So, come on then," she said, rolling her sherry-brown eyes in a telling gesture. "What do you know about our Rollo?"